In just a few moments now, we're going to begin today's Whole Life Action Hour. If you want to take advantage of the latest learnings of nutritional science and you want to put healthy eating into practice in your life, then you are in the right place. In a few moments, I will be joined by our special guest for this Action Hour, Colleen Patrick Goudreau. We host an Action Hour every month, typically on the first Saturday of the month. These action hours are projects of Whole Life Club, which is Food Revolution Network's brand new membership program. We just opened it and the response has been incredible. Every month, our Whole Life Club has a theme. And throughout that month, club members receive videos, recipes, and resources to help them take action on that theme. And our theme this month is how to have healthy, happy, fabulous holidays, which is the focus of today's Action Hour. I want to be very clear, nothing about this event constitutes or in any way replaces the need for medical advice. We are offering education and our own best insights, but please use common sense and remember you should always consult a proper healthcare professional for any advice about treatment or response to a specific medical condition or situation. Okay, here we go. Welcome to this Whole Life Action Hour as we explore how you can take action to heal your body and your planet with food. I'm Ocean Robbins, co-founder and CEO of Food Revolution Network. Our focus today is how you can have happy and healthy holidays. We're so glad to be joined for this hour by Colleen Patrick Goudreau. Colleen is an expert and a thought leader on the culinary, the social, the ethical, and the practical aspects of whole foods, plant-based living. She's the award-winning author of 7 books, including The Joy of Vegan Baking, On Being Vegan, and the 30-Day Vegan Challenge. Colleen is an acclaimed speaker and a beloved host of the inspiring podcast, Food for Thought. Her genius is in helping you to be true to your values while building positive relationships with the people you love, whether they share those same values or habits and lifestyle choices or not. Colleen, thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to share your wisdom with all of us today.
Hi, Ocean. Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Well, wonderful to have you. And speaking to all of our participants, we're thrilled to have you with us too. It's so exciting and it's so powerful when we can join forces with others who are on this healthy eating path. In this hour, I'm going to be asking Colleen questions that are on a lot of our minds. And I'm also going to share some specific questions that were shared with us by our members in the Whole Life Club. And when we complete our time with Colleen, I'll introduce you to Whole Life Club. And if you're not already a member, I encourage you to stay on so you can find out about the special offer that's only available on this one day of the month, today. And if you're so eager that you can't wait or you're curious but know you're going to have to leave early, there is a button on the broadcast page that lets you learn more about it at any time. Throughout this event, I want to encourage you to make good use of the comments area on the broadcast page. We have staff there to moderate, and if you hear anything particularly inspiring, anything you want to remember or highlight or make sure everyone else hears, I want to encourage you to share that in the comments area as well so that everybody with us right now can see it. Let's all lift each other up and share our epiphanies, our insights, our ahas and breakthroughs. And also our questions. If you want to raise a question or a challenge, feel free to put that out there as well. So jumping right in here, Colleen, we know that food is the foundation of health. We've got an enormous body of data right now, including thousands of studies that have been published in peer-reviewed journals. They tell us in no uncertain terms that if we want to be healthy, if we want to prevent heart disease and cancer and type 2 diabetes and dementia, and most of the other major ailments that we're facing right now in the world, we need to eat less animal products, we need to eat less sugar and processed foods, and we need to eat more whole plant foods. But then you can look at our behavior, and most of us don't seem to be able to change. Right now, at this very moment, there are more than 100 million Americans on a diet. 99% of those diets end in failure, and our society just seems to keep on getting fatter and sicker. So it seems to me there's an enormous gap between what we know and what we do. Colleen, my top question to you to start things off is one word. Why?
My answer is 2 words: willful blindness, right? We have one notion about who we want to be, who we are, how we want to be, how we want to live, how we want to feel. And then we have our behavior, as you said, completely opposite of even how we perceive ourselves. I always joke that whenever I tell someone I'm vegan, the first thing they say is, I don't eat a lot of meat or dairy or eggs. And yet you really don't know how much you eat until you stop. We're so unaware of our habits until we pay attention to them. And that's what habits are. I mean, the whole point of a habit is to do something so that you're not thinking about it, so you can save your resources and your brain resources for doing other things that are more important. And so we just give into that, right? So honestly, I think a lot of it, especially when it has to do with harming ourselves or harming others, we don't want to believe that we're doing something that hurts someone else or ourselves. And so we have this cognitive dissonance. We have this discomfort with what we're doing and how we actually want to behave. And so in order to protect that perception of ourselves, we have to have willful blindness. We have to look away or couch it in positive terms or deny it or justify it or make excuses for it. And I think that's really at the heart of what happens with us. Now, knowing that, I think is hopeful, because it means if we're blind, we can see. If we're awake, we can become, if we're asleep, we can become awake. And it's also, I think, really helpful because I think it helps us understand why other people act the way they do, especially when those of us become awake and we change our behavior. We're inclined to say, I don't understand. How can they not see it? How can they not change? How can they not be aware of what's going on? And the answer is because willful blindness is a powerful thing and we've all participated in it. It's just really clear to you once you become awake.
Yeah. I think of habits a little bit like water. And here in California, we've been getting some rain recently, which is wonderful. And it's making me think about water a little bit too. And, water flows in grooves. And if those grooves get deep enough and last long enough, they turn into gullies and creeks and eventually rivers. And that habits are a little bit like that. Our neural pathways, the way we think, and certainly the way we eat, is deeply habituated. And a lot of people who are very accustomed to a certain way of eating and living and thinking and acting can feel really overwhelmed by the thought of changing that. And, water doesn't naturally go uphill. It goes downhill, right? But what's fascinating to me is that if you get out there with a shovel in your own backyard sometime and create a gully, water's going to flow down there every day if it has a way to go down that route. And it'll get deeper and deeper over time. And so I think that when it comes to habits, we have the opportunity to use our willpower, not to try to fight upstream and do the right thing against all odds, but to create habits, to create systems, to create routines. And over time, it gets easier and easier to do the right thing. It becomes automatic. And at the end of the day, what shapes your destiny isn't what you do at the one peak moment when you're passionate and inspired and listening to Colleen or reading one of her books. It's what you do day in and day out when you're tired, when you're worn out, at the end of a long week. Those are the things that really we settle back in. So the key, I think, is how we create those habit structures that set us up for success. Now, that said, however good you are at creating those, holidays tend to be a time when a lot of old habits set in. Number one, we're often around people that are part of our history, right? Sort of by definition with family. And some of those histories have habits that may not be fully in keeping with what we're up to now. But number two, a lot of folks may also not be eating in the way that we do. And, they say that holidays are the most wonderful time of the year. And for some people they are. But for a lot of people, they're also characterized by stress and debt and squabbles. And one of the places families have the most conflict and friction is often around food, especially when we have family members who might not eat the way we do. Some of us try to compromise our food values because we want to just have harmony and get along, but that doesn't feel great if we had a spare tire around the middle, but we don't want to feel like a Grinch on Christmas. So Colleen, what advice do you have for folks who are thinking about holidays and getting together with family and want to do this in a way that's in integrity with their values, which includes the love they want to share with loved ones?
Yeah, it is a time we put so much pressure on ourselves and on others as well. And we have all these expectations. And I think for me, at least the way I try to live my life is to really try and keep those expectations in check. For me, a lot of the way we interact with other people around holidays, just regular dinners, whatever it is, day to day, work, colleagues, really starts with how we think about that situation long before we enter that situation. So I do think a lot of it has to do with kind of acclimating ourselves and calibrating our minds to what do we want to get out of this? Or more importantly, possibly, is what do we want to give and what do we want to bring to this? And I think we can do all of those things. So I think that's the first thing, is asking ourselves, what do we want this experience to be? And what do we want, who do we want to be in it? And what do we want to bring to it? And what do we want to get out of it? So that to me is everything. And then from there, the answers will come in terms of how you'll interact with your family and friends, and what you literally will bring to it, food that you'll bring to it, questions you'll bring to it, requests that you might have for your family prior to the event. I don't think we should show up cold to an event that we're stressed about, that we're, clenching our fist about, and we're just really stressed about. I mean, we can talk to our families, and I think communication is a huge aspect of what we all need to get better at all the time. I mean, it's a skill that we have to practice. So if there's a holiday coming up, well, there's a holiday. If there's a particular dinner coming up or an event coming up, and you're stressed about it, especially around what am I going to eat? What's going to be there for me to eat? How can I participate in a way that I'm not making someone else feel inadequate, or that they're not serving my needs? Because people get very defensive around this time of year, because as much as we have expectations, they have expectations too. Yeah. And so asking here's the deal, mom, dad, brother, sister, friend, whoever, aunt, we all know that we live our lives differently. I am anxious about this particular event because I want it to be wonderful and joyful for all of us. What can I do to help so that all of our needs are being served? I mean, those kinds of conversations sound, great on paper, and they can be hard, but we can have them. We can do that. And I think it makes a lot, so this is before you even decide what to bring or what to eat or what to serve or et cetera. I think deciding who you want to be and how you want to be before the event, I think, is absolutely everything. And just lighten up a little bit too. I think because we put so much weight on these holidays, that's also what gets us into a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, if people want to have a conversation in advance of a gathering with folks, let's suppose, who don't eat the way they do and don't plan to anytime soon, what are the key tips to what should they say exactly?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to get out of it. I mean, it depends on what your conversation is about. If it is about first of all, again, if it's just about you feeling better about being in an environment where you're not supported, that might be the case, or at least where your values aren't shared, or at least where people aren't, they don't eat like you do.
Yeah.
First, it starts with, I think it's so important for all of us to remember where we came from and how we ate and where we were before we made these changes, so that we don't think that we're there's some anomaly and we're some special being. We just happen to have the information align at the right time for us to make a change. And we were open at that moment to do that. So first, really understanding that, that they're just not where you're at, but that's neither, bad nor good. So entering that situation, knowing that, that it's remembering where we were, that we were once in that position as well. So that's, again, kind of calibrating our minds to that. But if the question is, how can I, we want so badly to inspire the people around us. And I think we underestimate the power of just being who we are and just living the way we live. And I am not saying that doesn't mean we can't talk about things we're excited about. I talk a lot about walking that line between expressing our passion, expressing our enthusiasm, expressing our, what we think is important, that we have to do that, but not being attached to what that will do to other people or how they will react. That's the key, because we should be able to talk about how we feel and how good we feel and the changes we made. And that's all important. The trick is knowing that if we have an attachment to what someone's going to do with that, whether we think they're going to be inspired by it or want to change by it, that's where it really is amazing. Because if we know that we're going to come in and share our truth and share our enthusiasm and not be attached to the outcome, people can read it. They
Mhm.
know the difference. They can
Yeah.
feel the difference with when we come in like this and we're like, no, it's really good. We have to do this because animals are suffering, because the environment is in trouble, and because it's really bad for all of us. They can feel that and they immediately go,
Let
okay,
me out of here.
let me out. Exactly. But if our body language and our intention and our truth is, I feel so good, it just feels so good to reflect my values because I care so much, and it just really suits me, and I'm really grateful to have found this information. Even our body language is more relaxed, and then what happens is people go, what do you mean, tell me more? And they kind of lean in when we're just in this state of, I've got this information, I've got this, if you want it, I'd love to share it with you, but you know where to find it. Here it is. And be
Yeah.
more relaxed about it, and people kind of come in. So that's kind of where I come from when we're having these interactions with family.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend Susan Pierce Thompson, who's been a guest in many of our summits, talks about weight loss. And, she's developed a program that is incredibly effective in helping people to release excess pounds and break free from food addiction. And I have some friends who I think could really benefit from it. And, I've inspired, hundreds of thousands of people to learn about her work. And yet, when it comes to my own friends who are struggling with their own weight challenges, I said, how can I tell them? Is it okay to send them a link to the quiz that you put together? And she's like, go really gentle. You really can't shove it down people's throats. If someone's dealing with weight challenges, do you think they don't know that they're dealing with that? Do you think they don't care? Do you think they haven't stressed about it and worried about it a lot? Of course they have. And what you have to deal with also is the dynamics of guilt and shame and fear of being judged and fear of trying again and failing, and all of those dynamics that are present, which means that as an external person to their psyche and psychodrama, I have to go really lightly. But I think, as you're saying, that sharing our own lived experience is one place where there can be respectful communication. The best advertisement for healthy living is health. If your smile's bright, if your energy is strong, people ask me all the time, I don't know how you do it. How do you have so much energy? How are you so clear? How do you go all day? And that's a good opportunity. Well, I eat pretty well. It's not the whole story, but it's a big part of it, right? And so I think that those openings, that modeling is the most powerful advertisement for positive choices. When our own vitality shines through, when people are wondering, why aren't you overweight like the rest of us? Those kinds of things can be really powerful. And the reality is, people will learn when they're ready, when they want to, and not a moment sooner and not a moment later. And being available, being an ally, being a resource is wonderful, but we can't shove it down people's throats. We can share, we can offer, and we can let go. That said, one little trick that I think is pretty potent, Dr. Neal Barnard introduced me to this. If you give somebody a book or a DVD that's educational in nature, here's a way to make sure they engage with it. Put a little Post-it note on the book. On page 263, I read something that really made me think of you, or chapter 13, or whatever it is, right? With the DVD, at minute 1614, there's a section that made me think of you. I bet you they will go to that page, or they will go to that part of the DVD, because it pulls them in, right? So think about how to personalize gifts like that in ways that are engaging and connective to people. And that can be pretty juicy. So I want to ask you, Colleen, a question that came in from one of our participants, who was, let's see, it was, I'm just pulling it up here. Patricia talked about the difficulty with her husband and her 11-year-old daughter during the holidays of giving them food that they find interesting. She said they made their mashed potatoes with milk, butter, sour cream, and cream cheese. She made hers with almond milk and a little salt. And it was hard. Like, basically, they thought that theirs tasted a lot better. And similarly with pumpkin pie, she tried to make a healthy one, and it didn't taste as good to her family as the healthier one, right? And this is probably not an unfamiliar circumstance. So especially when taste buds have been acclimated to large amounts of animal products and sugar and processed foods, the transition can be challenging sometimes, and it's not always easy to do it on a flash, like at a moment's notice. So what are your thoughts on how to bridge that gap for people? And also how to navigate, and even for our participants who don't want to feel like they're getting second-rate food. Everyone else is feasting on this big old turkey or whatever it is, and they're eating their little little granola over in the corner. So how do we bridge that for ourselves personally and also for our loved ones?
Well, I will say that there is one aspect of we want to make sure that our food does taste really tasty and that it is first rate for us and for anyone who's going to try it. So the problem is if someone's eating all of that fat, their taste buds are acclimated to it. And the worst thing we could do, or the worst thing anybody can do, is try something that is not as rich next to something that is super, super rich. So it will always pale. It will. Like, that's just the way it is, especially when we're talking like mashed potatoes with sour cream and butter and like cream and all of that. So it probably didn't taste as good, to be really honest. But that's not the time to test things. And that's not the time to actually feel that that's the right barometer. Like, that's not the time. So is it that we feel that we're not eating something as healthy, or do we feel that someone else is judging our food? And that becomes the symbol for, well, I'm failing because how am I going to inspire anybody to want to eat this way if my food doesn't taste as good, right? So we're always dealing with two different things. We're always dealing with what we need and how we want to also advocate, because we do naturally want people to be inspired and excited about what we're doing because we want them to do it as well for all the reasons we talked about. So we have to be really clear about what it is that we're trying to get out of the situation. So when it comes to something that we're making, I mean, there is a difference between, say, not eating animal products at all and having something try to be super, super healthy. I mean, at the holidays, we probably can indulge a little bit more and maybe have some non-dairy butter in our mashed potatoes, if we want to do that to make it feel a little special and rich. But we put so much pressure on ourselves to be the messenger of everything. And we feel that at the moment that we're talking to people, we have to say the right thing. We have to feed them exactly the right thing, that all the pressure is on us at that moment to either make them vegan or not, or, change their behavior or not, or, get them to eat healthier or not. And again, it just puts so much pressure on ourselves. And then we wind up feeling like failures because we didn't inspire them to make a change. So we have to relax a little bit. We also have to be really clear to someone who's eating, say, something really rich like that, and we're eating something lighter, and saying, well, there is a difference. I mean, there is a difference between these two, but the effects of this one are X, Y, and Z. So again, being kind of clear to them about what those expectations are. And then just when it comes to the food, I have a hard time with people making different things for their family members. I don't think, especially women, should be short order cooks or, that we have two different meals for our family. I mean, the idea is that, of course, we want to be able to cook for everyone. I hear from a lot of women who deal with that still. I mean, women are still the ones who are primarily cooking in the homes and shopping. Yeah. And I hear from a lot of women who say that they are disgusted by the food they are making for their family. They don't want to do it, but they do it because they feel like have to. So I would encourage people to kind of get clear about that. If the agreement is that you make for your family what you've decided all these years, you're the one who's decided what you're making for the family, and you've decided that you want the family to eat healthier and they don't want to put the work into it, then that's what they eat. That's my opinion. And if they want to go out and get something that is different, they have the prerogative to do that. So that's, kind of more on a daily basis. But
sure. And every family ecosystem has to navigate those in its own ways, because no two families are exactly the same, but some of these principles can be really helpful. A lot of people struggle also with bad habits or old habits that kick in, especially around the holidays. I mean, the average American gains 1.3 pounds over the holidays and typically doesn't lose it. So the obesity epidemic kind of spirals, and this is like where it jumps up on the spiral year after year for a lot of people. But it doesn't have to be that way. But it often is. We heard from Mary, who said, I cooked turkey for my dog after Thanksgiving, and I was surprised by how much it made me want to eat turkey and everything else typically found on the Thanksgiving table of my childhood, even though I haven't eaten meat for over a year. I think the smell brings back a lot of wonderful memories. Any suggestions for items that might stimulate the sense of smell and satisfy that craving? And also for people who feel like their emotional and family connectivity is tied to those smells and those memories, what are some other ways of recapturing the really valid and beautiful feelings of peace and love and connection and joy and self-care that we often associate with these kinds of foods.
Well, you said it. So that's what happens, is that the smells, the tastes, the look of whatever it is we're talking about, that triggers the emotions, but it's the emotions that really matter, right? So let's go underneath what these symbols symbolize. So we can let it in, we can recognize it for what it is, and we can say, oh, what actually this is triggering it are my feelings of warmth and joy and connection and tradition and family. Let me focus on that. So we don't have to respond just because we have a stimuli, right? So we can recognize the stimuli, and then we can say, what is this triggering for us? And if it's triggering for us all of those emotions, that's what I would then encourage us to really focus on, not focusing on the thing itself, right? Because that really is a symbol. I mean, all of these things are symbols. Turkeys at Thanksgiving is a symbol. Eggs at Easter time, it's a symbol. I mean, all of it's a symbol. So what does it symbolize? And then let's focus on what it symbolizes. But absolutely, I mean, I talk a lot about the fact that it's not about the turkey, it's about the fat, it's about the salt, it's about the familiarity, the texture, and the flavor. So if that's what so aside from the emotions that triggers, okay, so what might be triggering, oh, I really want something salty, or I really want something familiar, I want something chewy. Then, okay, what can I do to go meet those needs and still get those needs met, but not do it in a way that's going to compromise my values?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I want to say a word right now, actually, about family connection and what the holidays are really all about. Because we have, in our society, I think, come to associate holidays with conspicuous consumption and kind of an orgy of indulgence when it comes to food and stuff. And we lose a lot of the spirit of what it's all about. I mean, Christmas isn't just about buying stuff and going into credit card debt. It's about love and connection and spiritual connection and family coming together at the winter and in the snow and the cold times to light up our hearts and feel connection to each other and creating magic and a sense of beauty for children. And these are things that families have converged around in many different contexts and environments and even faiths. How we sit at the table together, whatever we've gone through in the year before, and have these rituals and these traditions. And when we make the focus of a holiday the food or the stuff, we lose the human beings that are really the memories we're going to cherish. Food and stuff can be a doorway towards expressing love, towards expressing connection, towards sharing, gathering around the table. But at the end of the day, it's the people and it's the love that matters the most. And so I love to, do simple things with our family. Like we play games together. We go around the table and say things we're grateful for. I'll share one of my favorites, which seems to work with all different kinds of groups. Our twins and I were just playing this a couple of days ago. It's called What Is This? You just grab any household object, get everyone in the circle in the living room or whatever, grab any household object, pick it up, and somebody makes up something silly. Like, we've got a bottle cap here. Okay, so I could say, wait, what is this? I'd be like, oh, it's a hat. Right? And then someone else would say it's a flying saucer, and we go around the circle, and everyone just comes up with something silly or funny that it might be. Oh, it's an eye patch, and you just play with it, and people laugh hysterically. And we go around with one object, then you grab another one, and people introduce all kinds of random household objects, and it's so fun, I think. Just to play with that. There's all kinds of family traditions you can create. Some people play games, poker, whatever, and by the end of it, they just have a new tradition in place that's about the connection and the fun, the laughter and the joy that we share together. So I just want to put in a word about that. And do you have any favorite ways of bonding around the holidays, Colleen?
Oh, I love that so much. Absolutely. I mean, that is really what it's about for us. And we don't live close to our families, but we have created our family here in California. Our families are both in New Jersey, so 3,000 miles away. But we love the connection and the community we have here with our neighbors, with our friends, and with each other. We play a lot of games with our friends whenever we get together. So I love that game. That is absolutely adorable. We do play card games and board games and that kind of thing. And yeah, around the holidays, one of the things that we do is there's always some book that meant something to me that year. So I always get a copy of a book for like the same book for a number of my friends because I want to share with them something that I love. We are very much not about things and stuff, but about experiences. So we have stockings hung just because I love the way stockings look hung on the mantle. But inside, I usually stuff some kind of, just questions. We do a lot of questions and journaling together. There's some really fun questions you can find online, just like questions you can ask each other. Just, what would you do if? And, just spend hours and hours just talking to each other. I love the feeling of just being, like you said, inside for us when it's raining and just feeling really cozy and just being among people we love. That's really what it's about.
Yeah, wonderful. Another question that comes up for a lot of people is around gifts and gift giving. And Leanne said, upon receiving a gift of something unhealthful like cookies or even like Teflon coated pans, what is the best way that you appreciate that the person gave you a gift, but also let them know you'd rather not receive something like that in the future? Would you handle this situation differently if it were a friend versus family? And what would you do with a gift? Can you suggest something that would help avoid the situation entirely by doing or saying something before gift giving happens, like Christmas or a birthday, for those who expect to receive gifts?
Yes, I think most people know the answers to the questions they ask. They have them deep inside themselves. I don't think I'm telling you anything that you haven't already surmised. I do think having these conversations long before any kind of gift giving holiday, whether it's birthday or Hanukkah or Christmas, is really helpful. I think definitely talking to people, just kind of setting the expectations with your family and friends, kind of what what you're looking, who you are and what is meaningful to you throughout the year, so that it's not a surprise at Christmas time or at your birthday. I definitely think not telling people when they give you a gift that is not in alignment with your values. For some people, it might be leather, it could be an animal product. And it really does depend on the person. Again, you nailed it. It really depends on the circumstance, on the people, on the context, on the relationship, on the holiday, on the gift itself. I've told stories about when we have neighbors come over who are well-intentioned and don't want to come empty-handed. So if they don't know that we're already vegan, and we do keep a vegan home as much as we're able to, it's not like we stop people from coming in the house because they have leather shoes, right? It's not that. But we do, just ask people when we have a party like we're having tonight, we just say, don't worry, you don't have to bring anything. You're welcome to bring some wine if you want, but you don't have to bring anything at all. And if someone does, I've had circumstances where when they're leaving, I'll say, thank you so much. You're welcome. I'd rather you give this to someone who's going to be able to use it, right? So in a friendly way, I can say, please, I'd rather you use this. We're not going to be able to use this. And then they could say, oh, why? Oh, we're whatever, right? So you can have that conversation. So that would be a friendly way to do it. But if it's a family member who thought like you'd love these leather gloves, like at the moment that they're giving you something is not the moment to say, I don't want to receive it, right? It can hurt. So it really depends on the circumstances and the context and the relationship. But I do think establishing these, kind of rules or whatever you want to call them beforehand is really key.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, once people know, they usually try to respect it. There are a few people who are just annoyed and think you're being puritanical and they try to bug you. But for the most part, I think people the point of giving a gift is actually people think about what would this person want to receive. So in the long run, by giving them some advance notice, you're helping them accomplish their job better, which is to do something you'll actually appreciate.
Exactly. And then I think at that point, I don't think there's anything wrong with, the idea for me around things, anything, is to value what it is that we actually have, right? Value for me is everything. So if there's something someone gives you and you're not going to value it, literally, you're not going to use it, you're not going to value it, I don't think there's anything wrong with passing it on to someone else who will, whether it could, goodwill or just a friend or a neighbor or someone in need, then they'll be able to get something out of it. They'll be able to use it, but you just keeping it because you think you have to and just sits around and creates clutter. That's not valuing that item. So you may not necessarily tell that person that that gift wasn't for you. And then maybe throughout the year, just kind of make sure people know that you're not receiving whatever it is they gave you. So I don't necessarily think there's always a value in telling people that it's not what you want, but I do think there's value in you passing it around so it's valued by somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping to a very different topic, Catherine said she wants to discover a way to use cranberries that isn't based on sugar. There are certain tastes that say holidays, and many like pumpkin or sweet potatoes are easy to incorporate, but cranberries have her baffled. Now, we all know cranberries are not sweet. They are a berry, but they're kind of bitter and kind of sour. So any thoughts on ways to use cranberries that don't require sugar?
Yeah, the cranberries definitely are sour. I would say use the cranberries for color. And I would say use cranberries for creating garland for a tree or for a decoration. So running cranberries and popcorn through a thread that you can then hang as a garland really brings out the holiday. It's the color, right? That's what it's about. And then you can put them outside and birds can eat them. So I think there's a wonderful way to use cranberries that, but if you're talking about eating them, I do think if you're not going to use sugar, and maybe you can use, other kind of sweeteners rather than a refined sugar, but I do think you're going to use them in small amounts or dry them so that the sweetness comes out naturally, or use them for their color.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a quick word about berries of all kinds. They're incredibly healthy. So, and cranberries included, but not when you put them in a base of high fructose corn syrup. then it's another story. But don't blame the berries. They're pretty awesome. We have a question from Robin. She said, I am still a newbie as plant-based, and it'll be my first time celebrating plant-based food during the holiday in 2018, as well as my birthday. Robin's asking, what can I eat for the holidays? Christmas, Hanukkah, birthday, and New Year's Eve. I want to celebrate for making a huge change in food the last 6 months. And I want to say, Robin, congratulations. We're so proud of you. We're so happy that you are making these changes for your life. And we want to celebrate with you your birthday and all of these holidays. And we also want to support you in staying with it and deepening your resolve and developing a new batch of happy, healthy memories that you can carry with you and healthy traditions that you can carry with you in the years to come. So, first thing I'll say, and then I do want to invite Colleen to talk about it more, is that this month in Whole Life Club, and Robin, I believe you are a member, you're getting an incredible bunch of recipes. And for everybody watching who is not a member, we'll tell you at the end of this action hour more about the Whole Life Club. But every month we have a theme. This month's theme is healthy, happy holidays. And so you're going to get recipes every week that are fabulous and wonderful with a holiday theme. So please make use of them and enjoy them. And I think that'll answer a lot of your questions. But Colleen, do you have any favorite tips for healthy, fabulous ways to enjoy holiday food?
There are so many ways. Yes, congratulations. And it is so wonderful. I love when people are just in the beginning stages and there's so much enthusiasm and fear. I get it. But when I talk about healthful eating and obviously enjoying it and the pleasure of it, I really talk about color a lot. So I would really encourage you to just really think about color in whatever you're centering your celebrations around. Obviously seasonal as well. There are certain colors we associate with spring and summer and fall and winter. And so I would really encourage you to look at what's seasonal, look at what's really colorful in this season. And there's so much you can do. I mean, it depends on, I don't know, how you're eating or what you're eating or what you're not eating, but there is a lot we can do that just really celebrates all of the plant foods. As you've probably experienced, when you make this change, you crave things you've never craved before. You taste flavors you've never tasted before, because as we were saying before, when your palate is so coated with fat and salt, you can't taste the subtlety of plant foods. And so celebrate the flavor that's in all of the plant foods, including the spices, including the herbs, fresh herbs, dried herbs. People really underestimate people talk about like, oh, I really need to bring more flavor into my food. Spices and herbs are sitting there. Most people have them in their kitchens and they're collecting dust. So
and they are so healthy.
Yeah, and they're so healthy and they're so beautiful and they're so flavorful and they're so colorful. So use those spices and herbs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's interesting. We have our savory spices and we have our sweet spices, and they're often almost kind of like a firewall between them. But it's kind of interesting what happens when you cross those lines. When you put a little allspice or nutmeg or cinnamon into a savory dish, or sometimes you can go the other way. People are starting to add chili to their chocolate, and it kind of works sometimes. So being creative and playful with spices is wonderful. It's amazing how the right spices can transform a simple basic dish into something that feels kind of gourmet.
Agreed. And it will make your home smell fantastic. One of the things I do around this time of year, obviously this is December or November, whatever the holidays. Is it? Oh my God, it's December.
It's
Wow,
December.
it's December. Well, so, in the fall, whatever, in the winter, I love just putting on the stove some water with a cinnamon stick and some nutmeg and allspice, whatever, anise seeds, and just simmering that on the stove, just making sure you remember that it's on the stove. And your whole house will smell. So I'm going to be doing tonight before our friends come over. It's the most wonderful air freshener, and it's natural, and it will definitely trigger all of those memories that we have when we smell those flavors, and it will possibly inspire you to cook as well.
Wonderful. Speaking of the winter and the cold, Jacqueline had a question about this. She said, living up north in Canada, where daylight is very limited and the thermometer drops below zero, I find I turn to starchy comfort foods more than is healthy. Do you have any strategies for avoiding this, especially during the winter months?
Well, you probably have some thoughts about that too. I mean, I would say, what does that look like? Because, you said starchy, you didn't say carbohydrate. I do caution people to, not demonize carbohydrates, because we need complex carbohydrates and they're in all those foods. So I would say if it's more of the refined carbohydrates, then focus more on complex carbohydrates, because this is the way we're supposed to eat this time of year, especially in areas where I can't imagine how cold it is there because I'm very soft living here in California. I go to 40 degrees and I'm miserable. So
we Californians are terrible. We complain if it's we have to put a sweater on today.
I know, and I like just the chill, but then if it's too windy or whatever, I mean, I really don't leave Oakland. I don't like going to San Francisco because it's too cold, it's too windy. So we're quite soft. So I say this aware of that. However, this is the way we're supposed to eat. These are the foods that are meant to sustain us through the winter, those wonderful, hearty, complex carbohydrates, again, healthful starches that are in potatoes, that are in sweet potatoes, that are in yams, that are in a lot of the complex carbohydrates of this year. So I would say you don't have to reject them. It's also a matter of how you then flavor them. So relying more on spices and, I'm a little bit of salt or, as opposed to all of the fat with it. There's definitely ways you can combine all of the wonderful complex carbohydrates to get flavor and not feel guilty about it, I think.
Absolutely. And, keep in mind that when you have less heat from the outside, your body has to become more of a source of heat, which means you're naturally inclined, whether you realize it or not, because you're indoors a lot, so it may be a little bit distorted, but your body is naturally inclined to generate more heat in the winter to keep up and to be responsive to harsh external environment. And so it's natural that you would want to fuel that with the food that you need for that. I mean, our homes use more fuel in the winter to stay warm. And so our bodies need to also, and some of that fuel is going to come from the things that are high in energy. And carbohydrates are a great fuel source for generating heat. And as Colleen says, going for the complex ones is really critical. But you don't have to stop eating vegetables. And that's one of the key things is maybe you are drawn to more complex carbohydrates, but make sure you're getting the vegetables right through the winter, even if they have to be, frozen and thawed or whatever. Or hopefully you can buy them in your local store because we have some pretty awesome distribution mechanisms nowadays around food. But keep the veggies going. And also keep in mind that a lot of people do well with more soups, like warm soups in the winter. Those can be really satisfying. And hot tea, drink lots of hot tea and keep your body warm from the inside out. It's a good time to just focus on warming yourself up. And that'll also help your tummy feel happy right through the seasons. Jacqueline had another question, and I'd love if you could touch on this, Colleen. She said, I'll be hosting a few days of holidays with adult children and their spouses. Some are vegan, others are big meat lovers. I find it difficult to pull together a meal that meets everyone's needs and respects their lifestyle and ethical choices. How best to approach this?
Well, that's a very good question. So again, it has to come from a place of authenticity for yourself. So you have to decide what you want to share and what you want to give and how you want to host based on your values that I think you do need to respect. I think sometimes we get a little, for the right reasons, we want to make sure everybody's happy. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think first and foremost, it is important that we respect our values and our homes. So, and don't underestimate the food that you will share with people. You do not have to give them meat. First of all, we're talking about one party, one event, one dinner. They'll be fine and they'll be better without meat. So you do not have to accommodate that just because they eat that, because they eat meat. Trust and celebrate all of the plant foods that will satisfy them. Again, we talked before, it's not about the meat, it's not about the dairy, it's not about the eggs, it's about fat, salt, flavor, texture, and familiarity. And when you're infusing the dishes that you're making with all of those things, it could be a certain mouthfeel, it could be something chewy, it could be something smoky, it could be something creamy, then you're meeting those needs. They're not going to miss anything. So for instance, we're having a party today. We're having two parties today because I'm insane. So we're having two back-to-back parties, one with neighbors. We have an open house for neighbors every year. And then we always have a holiday party for our friends, and we're going to be out of town. So I thought, well, since we're having the holiday open house for our neighbors, we might as well just have a party right afterwards for our friends. So we have like 3 to 6, we're having the neighbors, and then from 6 to whatever, we're having our friends. And so I spent pretty much all day yesterday cooking and baking. One of the things that I make that I love, that everyone always loves, is polenta squares. Polenta is one of the easiest things to make, and it takes no time at all. And polenta is wonderful because it sets up. So I made it yesterday. It's already set up in the fridge. I'll cut them into little squares. You can even cut them into little shapes if you have a cookie cutter, or hearts for, Valentine's Day, or, use a cookie cutter for the holidays. And then you can use whatever toppings you like, just something really, you can do. One of the toppings I made was a muhammara, which is just roasted red peppers, garlic, cumin, and walnuts, and a little agave nectar to sweeten it up a bit, and some salt. And that's a wonderful, or hummus. So some kind of topping for it that'll complement it. You can also have mushrooms are wonderful for that smoky, wonderful, chewy flavor that's very familiar for people. Truffle, a little bit of truffle salt goes a long way. A little bit of liquid smoke in something. So you can make something like a really nice, hearty split pea soup that is so fantastic and flavorful and perfect for this time of year, and then have a little bit of liquid smoke in there that's going to add a little bit of smoky flavor, or chipotle peppers if you want to do that, right? So the idea is to think, what are the flavors and textures that I want to create, and celebrate that. You do not have to give people meat just because they eat meat. It's your home. It's what you're giving to them.
Absolutely. And some of us also go to other people's homes, and they may serve food that's not what we're accustomed to. And one year I was, my family was going up to visit my mother-in-law's for Thanksgiving, and she was doing the big turkey thing, and, lots of things that we wouldn't eat. And so we decided to make it a potluck style Thanksgiving. And so we brought things, and we made things, and we actually had a big, like, everyone's cooking in the kitchen at once, the day before, and there's all these different things getting cooked. And they were kind enough to make the gravy be without the chicken stocks that they were planning to use, so that we could all share it. And what was interesting was that everyone tasted the healthier plant-based foods that we brought and made, and enjoyed them. And we had quite a feast. And so of course I made extra beyond just what our family needed. And we weren't all eating the same thing, but we could coexist and share the love that was really what it was all about. And one of the foods that I found helpful, because I was looking at, well, what do we do for that kind of protein thing that replaces the turkey or the ham that a lot of people are used to? And so we did a nut loaf, and we could put gravy and cranberry sauce on it, and that worked really well. With cashews and almonds and walnuts ground up, and some nutritional yeast, and a little bit of flour to help hold it all together. And it was delicious, actually, with a lot of spices, and really, really satisfying. So, you can get creative. There's lots of options. I think 5 million Americans got Tofurkeys this Thanksgiving, which is, for folks who are wanting to go plant-based is great. For folks who are gluten-free, not so great. But, you find what works for you, and whether it's a transitional thing or just a whole new thing, there's always ways. And I think when you're going to parties or gatherings of any kind, and you don't expect the food to be what you're used to, consider bringing something and bringing enough to share. And that can really help. Marcia actually asked about this. She said she's eating the Christmas meal with her church family, and she's feeling a little anxious about it. She won't be able to eat before the meal because it's after Sunday school in church. And they're going to be serving a lot of things she doesn't eat. So she decided to make a big salad to share with everyone. And her husband decided to cook some sweet potatoes in a crock pot and bring them as well. She said, we don't like all the brown sugar people put in sweet potatoes. I hope this will be enough for me to eat. And she asked, do you have any other suggestions? I just want to say, Marcia, congratulations on spreading the love and bringing a salad, not just for you, but to share. That's beautiful. That really is beautiful. That's the spirit of the holidays, I think. It's about sharing and giving and sharing what works and what we love, right? And great on the sweet potatoes. Colleen, any other suggestions of what they might want to bring?
Yeah, I love all of those suggestions that you said. And I love the idea that we bring something for everybody to enjoy. I mean, it really is a gift. And there are a couple things I want to say about that. So one thing too is that we really underestimate how much what something looks like affects how we experience it. And that goes for people who are still consuming animal products. So having something, so you talked about the loaf as something that is similar. You know, we slice it because again, that's that familiarity. It's sliced on a plate. It's more of a brown color. It can have gravy on it. So that's kind of meeting all of those needs. And I think also a lot of when we're thinking about what a plate looks like, having a focal point, that's, I think, what a lot of that is about. The loaf, it's the protein, but I think a lot of it is it's a focal point. We think everything else are side dishes, even though cultures around the world don't think of them as side dishes. They would be the main dish. So we just have this notion of what a plate looks like, and we're used to that like focal point of the protein and then the side dishes. And if you remove the protein, the animal protein, you're just left with side dishes. And so that
Right.
seems inferior. So just kind of like rethinking of what a plate looks like. So a loaf is a great idea to replace that, again, for familiarity, but also think about a focal point. So stuffed anything is a fantastic focal point. It could be a stuffed squash. You talked about the sweet potatoes. You could do it with that, but even just a stuffed acorn squash or little pumpkins or a stuffed tomato. This season wouldn't be for tomatoes, but a stuffed mushroom or portobello, or using something like ramekins and having a wonderful risotto in the ramekin. You can also do something which is called a timbali, which means drum, right? So you have something like a small ramekin, you have a really beautiful, I have a risotto butternut squash recipe with sage. It's fantastic, right? So what you do is you make that and then you put it in the ramekin. And then when you're ready to serve it, you turn it upside down on the plate, lift up the ramekin, and now you have this beautiful form that is a focal point. You can put a little, some fresh sage or something on it, right? So always think in terms of what's going to be really inviting to the eye. And the other thing I would say, and no, it sounds really silly or simple, but the way we talk about and name the foods we share also impact people. So if we just say, yes, I'm bringing a tofu loaf, someone who is not thinking the way we are would go, that sounds disgusting, right? I don't want that at all. That's nothing. I don't care about tofu. I don't like tofu. But if we bring something, and I do think bringing things that are more familiar to people, like stuffed squash rather than a tofu loaf, will make people more inclined to eat it. But calling it something like, a fall celebration stuffed squash, or, something that really sounds inviting as opposed to alternative or replacement to people. That really makes a difference in terms of how we experience the thing that we're eating. When I say we, I mean also how others experience the food that we're sharing with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that. One of the family members some of us share homes with is our felines. And Denise commented, she said that you, Colleen, were critical to her successful transition from vegetarian to vegan. And she said, your podcasts, she said, gave me the information, courage, and resolve I needed. She says, I know she recognizes that her cats need meat to survive, and I'd love to know what she feeds them. Cat food's the only meat I buy, but I always feel guilty knowing those animals suffered. How do you approach that one?
I approach it with a little bit of willful blindness myself, because they are obligate carnivores, and I do love having cats I get to take care of, and that's not going to change. And they are number one for me. They are my priority. And so it is difficult. I mean, I get it. I do, you can feed them a little less meat. You can supplement their diet, maybe about 10% of it with plant foods. They will in the wild eat plant foods through the stomachs of the animals they eat, but I wouldn't go more than 10%. I know there are lots of anecdotal stories of people who have very healthy vegan cats, and I'm thrilled about that. I'm absolutely thrilled. I am not willing to take that chance with my cats. I did try like many years ago with our cats, Simon and Schuster, who are no longer with us, but Schuster had a really bad reaction, and I'll never know if it was from the vegan food I was feeding them. He got Addison's disease, which most cats don't get, and had to be on prednisone the rest of his life, and then he got diabetes from the prednisone. So I'm not willing to take that chance. So I do feed my cats canned. I don't feed them dry food, especially with male cats. I've had male cats who've had problems with their the urology. So I do feed them canned foods, and I do feed them aquatic animals. I don't feed them land animals. Some vegans I know feed their cats land animals because they're larger animals, and so there are fewer animals, so they kind of quantify it that way. We all have to kind of make our decision when it comes to our cats. Dogs do great, but cats are obligate carnivores.
Yeah. And it's interesting for those of us who want a more compassionate, more loving world. This is one of those quandaries some of us face, right? And I think it cuts right to the same thing we face with family dynamics, because maybe our family members aren't obligate carnivores, but some of them act like it a little bit sometimes. And at the end of the day, we choose to love people no matter what they eat, and love animals no matter what they eat, and keep doing the best we can with what we've got. But remember that if you want a more compassionate world, and that might even be what motivates some people to want to go plant-based in the first place, then let's bring compassion to all of our relations. Let's bring love to all of our relations. And I keep remembering what it's all about, right? It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's not about pushing our ideology on people. It's about standing for something. And personally, I want to stand for health and vitality and love and beauty and goodness in the world. And I want my food choices and my holidays and my relationships to be expressions of that. And so we balance that, and we don't make the perfect into the enemy of the good, because at the end of the day, you could be so perfect in one domain, and then you look at another domain and you're totally not, right? And we have to just do the best we can with what we've got. Some people I know are really ferociously vegan, and they're lonely, and they don't have a social life, right? Except for people who agree with them. So at the end of the day, how much influence are we going to have if we only talk to people who already think the way we do and agree with us about everything? So learning to live with differences graciously and respectfully and lovingly and constructively is, I think, one of the opportunities we have, and focusing on the big goal, which I think, at least for me, is a good life and a happy life and a contributing life that serves the people I care about. So, Colleen, we're nearing the end of our time here right now. And I want to say for all of our participants, we're not going to get to all of the questions that are being submitted on the broadcast page. There's some great ones. But if you're finding that you're hungry for more, or if you're interested in pulling some of these threads of wisdom through to your life and making changes to get the results you want, then in a moment, I'm going to tell you more about the Whole Life Club, which we just launched a month ago. It's an online membership program, and we have a very simple goal in this. We want to help you to take intelligent action so that you can get lasting results. The fact of the matter is that cancer and heart disease and type 2 diabetes and all the other chronic illnesses we face in the world right now don't care a heck of a lot what you think or what you know or how many books you've read or how many action hours you've attended, but they really do care what you eat and how you live. We created Whole Life Club because we want to help you to implement and optimize and sustain your healthy lifestyle so you can fight disease and so you can thrive. So in a few moments now, Colleen is going to need to go, and I will invite you to stay on with us to learn more about this program and how it works and how you can take advantage of a special discount that is only available if you sign up before midnight tonight. Colleen, since you're going to have to go in a few moments, is there anything more you want to say about why you have chosen to stand for healthy food and what you think is really at stake here?
Yeah, I mean, the last question and my answer for it gets at the heart of it. There are so many imperfections in this world, and there are a lot of things wrong with this world, and we can't solve all of them. We can try, and I think we should aspire to, but we are not going to solve everything. Rebecca Solnit, she's a writer I admire so much. She said, this is earth. It will never be heaven. And it is imperfect. And for me, that's what being vegan is about, it is about doing the best I can. But I'm never going to be perfect. But how wonderful that there are so many things we can do to make a difference. How wonderful that there are so many ways we can actually manifest our values of compassion and wellness. That to me is the point. It's a matter of what we focus on. We can focus on all the ways we're imperfect. We can focus on the fact that we can't feed our cats vegan. We can focus on the fact that, that our tires have, animal products in them, or that we're going to kill some insects as we're driving. I mean, we can focus on that, and we can think of all of the ways that we can't make this a perfect world, or we can focus on all the things we can do. And that's why I do what I do. It just feels good. It just feels right. And I really wouldn't want it any other way. So focus on what you can do, not on what you can't. And as I say all the time, don't do nothing because you can't do everything. Do something, anything, everything we do has an impact. Everything we do makes a difference. We don't get to decide whether we do make a difference or not. We get to decide only whether the difference we inevitably make is negative or positive. And to me, that's empowering rather than depressing. And that's the message I try to convey.
Yeah, beautiful. Martin Luther King said, "You have no moral authority with those who can feel your underlying contempt." When we judge people, when we pathologize them, then we lose moral standing in the relationship. And I would say that the same thing goes inward as well. That often we are our own fiercest critics. And we've been talking a lot in this action hour about family and friends. But let's remember that we ourselves are also in this journey too, of course. And we are also all works in progress, all creative, wonderfully flawed, wonderfully perfectly imperfect humans. And so to hold love and compassion with yourself, and if you slip up a little bit, like, the point isn't to blame yourself. The point is to get back on track lovingly and respectfully and keep going. So with infinite love and respect for all of us in this journey of life, I want to thank you, Colleen, for your wisdom and your heart and your passion and your creativity and your culinary genius. And I want to thank all our participants for being here. And let me say how deeply I appreciate your time and attention right now, everyone who's with us. I know that you care enough to get informed and to want to put what you're learning into action. You know that we can do better as a society, and that something more is possible, and that it's practicable. And together we are changing our menus and our lives and our world. So if you want to support our mission and set yourself up for success on your healthy eating path, in a moment, we're going to tell you more now about Whole Life Club. It's a membership program we just recently opened. It's going to go on sale the first Saturday of each month, and today is that day. So as we complete this action hour, I want to invite you to stay on to find out if it's for you, and so you can take advantage of the special offer that is only available until midnight tonight. Of course, if you're already a member, you probably won't be interested in this next part unless you want to remind yourself what a great choice you made by joining in. So Colleen, we're going to let you go now, and thank you again so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ocean. Thanks, everyone. Happy holidays.
And now for the rest of us, it's time for our transition. So thank you for staying on to learn more about Whole Life Club. I know a lot of people get inspired about cleaning up their diet and changing their life. They know it matters. They have the best of intentions. But then as they move along on the path, maybe they get busy or get confused or lose momentum, and they wind up not making the progress they hoped for. But as we know, our lives are on the line right here. And the status quo is a fast track to immense suffering. We created Whole Life Club because we are sick and tired of seeing people who have the best intentions fall by the wayside, and we want to help you succeed and really thrive long term. So here's the plan. Every month, Whole Life Club has a theme. This month's theme, for example, is eating to survive the holidays healthy and well and have happy and healthy holidays. And next month, we're going to focus on detoxification and cleansing and starting the new year on the right foot. Month after that, we're going to focus on heart health and how you can have healthy cardiovascular function. At the start of every month, we're going to hold another action hour with a special guest leader focusing on that month's theme. When you're a member, you get premium access to all the action hours, including the chance to submit questions in advance and ongoing access to the recordings, the transcripts, and a follow-up action checklist afterwards. Every week, you'll also get a new set of chef-created whole food, plant-based recipes that are nutritious, affordable, easy to prepare, and that taste amazing. And you get menu suggestions to help you plan balanced and nourishing meals. And every month's theme, the recipes focus on that month's theme. So this month, we're doing a lot to look at holidays and wonderful meals to share around the holidays. I'm going to send you another short action video and checklist every week to help you make progress with your food revolution. And you're going to get to join in a community of health-minded people to share insights, to receive guidance, to spread the food revolution, to build friendships, and to help you to achieve your lifestyle goals. We've worked diligently to make this membership as affordable as possible, while also having the resources we need to be able to sustainably offer you tremendous support. So if you're interested in joining us, then now is a great time, because if you sign up from this page before midnight, you can get a $100 annual discount. So if you're thinking about joining in, then please stay with us right now to find out more, or just go ahead and click that button and sign up now. So getting specific, here's how it works. WHOLE is an acronym. It stands for Welcoming Healthy Organic Lifestyle Empowerment. We want to dispel confusion by giving you solid, credible wisdom from experts that you can trust. We want to help you to cultivate healthy habits so that you can make healthy choices on the good days and also on the hard days. And we want to end loneliness or isolation. We want to give you a powerful community that can support you and that can inspire you. Every week, I'm going to send you another short video describing a simple action you can take to move your food revolution forward. I'll also send you an action checklist with some really simple steps you can easily take to build healthy habits and to optimize your healthy lifestyle. We've brought on the brilliant plant-based chef and renowned healthy eating blogger, Katie Simmons, to provide 5 more fabulous recipes every single week. These recipes are all delicious, they're healthy, they're easy to prepare, they're affordable, and they're fun to share with friends and loved ones. They also connect to each month's theme. So for example, this month we have recipes that feature foods for the holidays and how to survive the holidays happily and healthfully. Next month, we're going to include recipes that will focus on detoxification. Katie will also give you menu planning guidance and be available to answer your lifestyle and food prep questions. And speaking of questions, let me tell you more about the best part of all, and that's the community. I don't know if you've ever felt like you had to swim upstream just to do the right thing for your health. But the fact of the matter is that we live in a toxic food culture, and most of our fast foods and convenience foods that are all around us are also junk foods. In this context, it's easy for a lot of folks to feel lonely or isolated. One of our top goals with Whole Life Club is we want to create a safe and a supportive community where you can start conversations on things that matter, where you can get support when you need it, and where you can share challenges and successes and make some new friends. That's what it's all about, really. It's connection, it's relationships, it's people. A friend of mine says, if you want to know what kind of person you're going to be later in life, look at who you're hanging out with now. The people we surround ourselves with have a huge influence on who we become. So we created a private custom membership platform. It's not on Facebook, and it lets you start or join conversations on topics that matter to you. So if you're a parent or a grandparent wanting support around raising healthy kids, or if you've got a spouse or a housemate who doesn't eat the same way that you do, or if you're caring for an aging parent, or you've got a loved one who's fighting a serious disease, you're going to find kindred spirits who can relate, who can support you, and who can inspire you. The community is moderated by our amazing community coordinator, Anne-Marie Roth, and Katie Simmons and I are also on there engaging regularly. So if you want to check it out right now while I'm talking about it, you can just click on the button for it that's under this broadcast on our broadcast page. In fact, if you already know this is for you, then please feel free to click on over and join in right now, and we will be so happy to welcome you. And while this club is open for registration every single day of the year, including tomorrow as well, the sale price is only available one day this month, and that's today. So if you want to save more than $100 per year, this is your chance. The regular price is $247 a year or $29 per month. But today, before midnight tonight, you can join in for just $147 a year or $19 a month. The moment that you register, you'll gain instant access to a potent collection of bonuses, the moderated member community forum, amazing recipes, special reports, and more. And you can look forward to having a steady flow of support in good times and in hard times that's going to help you to implement and to sustain and to optimize your healthy lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of people, probably a lot of folks watching right now, are do-it-yourselfers. If you are right now, you might be thinking, this all sounds great, and I could probably just do this myself. I could buy a cookbook and I could make it happen. And if that works for you, fabulous. I think self-reliance is an absolutely wonderful thing. But the reality is things often go faster and they go better when you have ongoing support from people who are really expert in helping apply these principles effectively. One of our top goals with Whole Life Club is we want to pull together decades of practical experience. I don't know a lot of people who've got the time to do all the research on their own, but right now you don't have to. You can learn what we've learned. You can adapt the skills that we've developed, and in the process, you can powerfully accelerate your own health journey. The food culture that we live in can be so hazardous. I say you should not have to swim upstream by yourself in order to do the right thing for your health. Whole Life Club is here to give you a new current that pulls you steadily and powerfully in the right direction. So right now, until midnight, you can get the entire Whole Life Club for a single, simple monthly payment of just $19. Or you can pay for a year all at once and get an even further savings, bringing your price down to just one annual payment of $147. That's a $100 discount off the regular price. This discount opportunity expires at midnight. And keep in mind, we offer a 60-day total satisfaction, 100% better than money back guarantee. So again, if you know you want to join in, just click on the button and you can gain instant access for this special discount price. We just started off in the last month, but already the feedback we're getting is that Whole Life Club is a game changer. We're hearing from so many people who feel the instant and palpable sense of relief that they get when they join. This sense that they're on the right track, that they don't have to do it alone, that they have resources and support every step of the journey. And it's also about not just nailing it, but optimizing it, taking it to the next level. So if you ever feel stressed or tired or strained by trying to eat right, or if you ever feel like healthy eating is more confusing than it should be, if you ever feel lonely or isolated or just want more friends and allies to bounce things off of, or if you want to take your healthy eating to the next level, if you feel like you pretty much got the basics in place, but you want to go further, then this is for you. The truth is, knowledge without action is weak, and action without knowledge can be reckless. But when you combine action with knowledge, you become an unstoppable force that can change your life and that can change your world. And now I want to close with a thought. I think that whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we've all got a choice to either be accomplices in the status quo or to be everyday revolutionaries. So if you want to be effective in challenging and changing the status quo for yourself and for your world, you need to know the truth. You need to be informed by knowledge where your food comes from and what its impact is on your life and your health is critical information. The more that you know, the more power you have to take meaningful and effective action. The more you know, the more powerful you will become to live the life you were born to live. The better able you will be to bring your food choices into congruence with your purpose, with your passion. Your mind will be clearer, your heart will be more at peace, and your body will thank you for the rest of your life. So I want to thank you so much for your partnership in the food revolution. And for those of you who sign up for Whole Life Club, the transformation begins the moment you join in, and we can't wait to share it all with you. Right now is a great moment to click on through and sign up now. Whatever you decide, I want to wish you an absolutely beautiful day and a beautiful holiday season for you, for your loved ones, for your world. Bless you and have a beautiful, beautiful day.